The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Broadcasting live from the Toscano Cigar Soundstage in Salem, New Hampshire, USA. And broadcasting around the world, this is the Cigar Authority. Transmitting since 2010, the Cigar Authority is the longest-lasting cigar podcast ever. Grab a cigar and light 'em up, light 'em up.
Scratch that.
The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. This is the United Podcast Network.
Hey everybody, this is The Ashholes. Each week, they smoke a different cigar, sometimes the same cigar, but mostly different, and they give their honest impression. They always assign an official Ashholes rating to that cigar. So, pull up a chair, light up, relax, be an Ashhole too. It's very rewarding.
Broadcasting live from the Studio 21 Cigar Studio above Two Guys Smoke Shop in Salem, New Hampshire. This is Welcome to the the Ashholes podcast.
It was bound to happen.
And today we have Drew Newman live via satellite celebrating JC Newman's 130th anniversary.
Well, yeah, we're not used to these bringing them in during Zoom. Let's see if we can get him. We got him.
There he is.
Thanks, Aaron.
It looks like he's frozen.
He's frozen, of course.
Let's see.
I hear you guys perfectly. Can you hear me?
I can.
Yes.
We hear you, but your picture looks like it's frozen, but we hear you loud and clear. Welcome to the Ashholes, Drew Newman, and we're used to having the people live here, so whatever ends up happening, this is like all the other shows you do that you as a guest are doing it from Florida. We're older here, and we usually have the people right here because of technology.
I mean, how many times do you think we've even had a guest via Zoom for the Ashholes period, if ever?
Maybe once or if ever,
Yeah.
right? Once or if ever. But good. So maybe he's our first or whatever, but we got him.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds great. All the reason you guys should come down here to the cigar city of Tampa, Florida, and record the Ashholes podcast or the Cigar Authority live here, because what's behind me is not a virtual background. It's the rolling room on the top of our 115-year-old El Rolo cigar factory. And so I'm all for live shows, but would love to welcome you here. Maybe not in the summer when it's a little warm and hot and humid, but when you get tired of the cold weather up in New Hampshire, come on down in the winter and we can roll cigars together and record an episode.
We're going to get into all that today because I did go on the website and looked at all the new things that have happened. I haven't been there in a few years myself. Been there many, many times, but not in the past few years, and lots of changes we're going to get to. But first, it is time to light up a cigar. So what are we going to light up here?
Well, you know what? I'll take care of it because while Aaron's trying to figure out how to get the video back up. So today we are going to light up the El Baton Robusto. This is a cigar made in Nicaragua.
There's a cigar in the shop called El Baton.
You know, I heard that.
I think it was Drew that put an end to that. We'll find out at the end of that ridiculous commercial. But I missed it.
That was great.
Yeah. I don't know about that. We'll get into that.
You know, before I do the rest of the cigar real quick, I am going to say that I was at my godson's house, and he was playing Wheels on the Bus, and I was like, you know, this song was ripped off from the El Baton commercial.
Drew, 2 children now, right?
Exactly.
Two children. So he's heard Wheels on the Bus enough anyway,
Yes,
so that's part of it.
Crazy.
Anyway, cold draw on this is... what word am I looking for? The graham cracker.
Graham cracker. I'm in.
Cracker.
Love it. And so this is the Robusto size, so it's 5x54. Nicaraguan Puro on this guy, $9.29 for a single, or $203.99 for a box of 25. And you can find this cigar on 2guyscigars.com. That is the number 2, guyscigars.com. So,
and I believe possibly the third rendition of this cigar over the years, now made at your own factory.
Yeah, that's a good yes.
Yeah.
That's a good With the first one being more than 100 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah, I missed that myself. But here's the amazing thing of this cigar, and I want to say this to our listeners. We have a cigar under $10 from Nicaragua that is phenomenal.
Yes.
It is a go-to. It's a big seller for us anyway. I'm sure it's a big seller all the way around. But a cigar of this quality for that kind of price, it's pretty unbelievable. Aaron, you doing okay?
Yeah, we're back up. We got video back up.
We're back in full
Had to
Voltron.
start fresh.
Okay.
But
That was us stretching a bit, but we got through it.
We didn't lose audio, at least.
Yeah.
No, that's
anyways.
good.
So what do you say? Is it time to light this bad boy?
Yeah, let's light the cigar. And today's lighting is brought to you by Perdomo, the hottest brand in the land, a company founded on quality, tradition, and excellence.
One draw, that's the law. One draw, that's the law. One draw, that's the law.
One draw, that's the law. It's brought to you by Abuelo Cigars. You're going to live under my roof. You're going to play by my rules. Abuelo Cigars. All right, Drew. This is the Ashholes. This is different from the Cigar Authority. We are Ashholes here, and we do things a little different. We have to actually judge this cigar on one draw. Now, we've tasted a cold draw on it, but now we lit the cigar, and then in just one draw, that's the law.
That's the law.
We have to say what we think of the cigar right off the bat, which is so unfair to any cigar. But that's what why the Ashholes is a little different.
Yeah, we're a little bit different here. You know?
But I just know the cigar so well.
Yes.
But it's probably an 8 out of 10 in strength.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of spicy notes in the nose.
Yes. I'm going to say wasabi. You know what? I'm going to go deeper. Kowloon hot mustard. Because that's where you get that spice when you know, I don't know what it is about the Kowloon hot mustard. And I'm not, normally I don't do
Wow, Chinese food hot mustard? You've never heard that before.
No.
No. I try to stay away from the Mr. Jonathan food reviews, but that's what I got.
I can see it.
Because it's like, you know, you go to, I don't know, any Chinese restaurant, you're like, oh, I'll get a little duck sauce, a little mustard, and at Kowloon, for whatever reason, man, that'll just clean you out, and it's great. It's a nice, zesty kick.
All right, so you have maintained those prices, unbelievable, taking away from none of your lines, actually. The value cigar, I would say, is JC Newman for many,
sure.
many years.
Wait till they see the six-pack this week.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So let's get to the Newman family, the JC Newman Cigar Company. Congratulations on 130 years. You look fantastic, by the way.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that.
130 years. I remember like it was yesterday, the 100th anniversary. I still have the booklet that they gave out. It was a big size booklet that was mailed to everybody showing the history of JC Newman 30 years ago. I don't know if there's a copy of that you've seen.
We have it. Absolutely, in archives, of course. I remember it.
And the big thing that was not only happening was the announcement of the 100th anniversary, but a brand new cigar that was the big thing was the ring gauge, how big the ring gauges were on it, because there wasn't such a thing at that time, and that all of them were not only called Robustos, no matter what size they were all big ring gauges, and then the length of the cigar was different. They came in boxes of smaller counts because everything was probably a 25 in those days. The packaging was so beautiful. It was a box, cellophane within a bag inside another box that came in, and you had to be anointed, basically, to be able to have these cigars, and you had to actually live on the East Coast to have the cigar. And
that's right.
This was a home run for David Garofalo personally, because I smoked that cigar and I go, this is the best cigar I ever smoked in my life. The amount of smoke production that came out of it, and oh my God, this was the big thing. And it was Diamond Crown, the launch of Diamond Crown 30 years ago. So will it not only be a big deal about the 130th, which is a bigger, longer number, but 30 years for Diamond Crown?
It is. It's absolutely. Diamond Crown was one of my great grandfather's original brands from more than a century ago, and it was a real honor to be able to bring it back in 1995 to celebrate our company's 100th anniversary. And it was equally exciting to refresh the brand and elevate its packaging to match the outstanding quality of the cigar for our 130th anniversary this year.
Let me tell you, when that came out, the packaging was top of the line, unbelievable. Look at this thing; it looks so much different than everything else. It's so elevated and beautiful of how it is. 30 years have passed. I wasn't paying attention, but now, especially at the very beginning when they first came in, we had some sizes with the old packaging, which to me looked beautiful until it was next to the new packaging, which
amazing.
It's so much finite and
the detail,
thought of how it will photograph, really.
Yeah, it's shot tremendous.
Yeah.
The bands glisten like diamonds. The amount of the printing is really exquisite. I would put it up against the finest cigar bands of the world with the level of detail and the golds and the foils and the bronzing that are in there. And again, the Diamond Crown has been an outstanding cigar since my grandfather, Stanford Newman, and Carlito Fuente blended it 30 years ago and shared it with you, Dave. But over the years, just the packaging that was outstanding 30 years ago has not matched how packaging has evolved over the last 3 decades. And so for our 130th anniversary, we wanted to refresh the packaging of Diamond Crown so that it matches the outstanding caliber of the cigar that's inside.
And something to be said about that yes, it changed, but not so much that you would look at it and say, this is a different cigar.
Right. Yeah.
But it has changed. And side by side, you can look at it. Somebody that maybe buys one today might not even realize it if they did not see the other ones. So it gave a good wink to its old days that it hasn't.
A nice facelift.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Same person, different facelift is actually a good word for it.
Yeah, and what's funny about that is, you go from repackaging Diamond Crown and it's true to form and it's elegant and it's, modernized. And then you go back in time and you make a new project like Tampa Smokers, which is vintage, like total opposite, So what was it like putting that together? Because that was a hit immediately. It was
coming
in and gone.
Yeah.
Well, Tampa is Cigar City. 100 years ago, there were 200 cigar factories just like this one that made 700 million cigars per year just in the city of Tampa. More cigars were made here than anywhere else in the world. And to put that number into context, last year there were about 400 million cigars enjoyed in the United States. But 100 years ago, 700 million cigars were made just here in the city of Tampa. And so the connection between cigars and our city is very deep and very old. So, of course, the first professional sports team in the city of Tampa was named for its cigar industry. It was named the Tampa Smokers. And 100 years ago, the baseball players had a lit cigar on their jersey saying Smokers. And it's an important part of our community's heritage. And so we thought, what better way to celebrate the century-old connection between cigars and baseball than by creating a beautiful cigar here, actually right behind me over there, that carries the name of this storied professional baseball team from a century ago.
It's awesome.
Well,
And
talk about a fast move. I mean, those things came in and came out in
we
minutes.
were on a plane to New Orleans, and by the time we landed, they were all gone.
All gone.
So, obviously you guys have done a few collaborations in the sports world the last couple of years between the humidors and other things, and with the, there's a lot of buzz around all these limited edition jerseys. I see it a lot of minor league teams around here where they're doing one-off game nights for jerseys. Has anyone approached you yet to throw it on? And,
So the Tampa Bay Rays have worn Tampa Smokers jerseys a few times in the lifespan. The only change is I think Major League Baseball made them take off the cigar on the jersey. So when they wear them for throwback games and so forth, it just says Smokers. But still, it's pretty remarkable, and it's a great way to honor the history of our community.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow, and a beautiful humidor,
Yes.
shaped like the home plate.
Home plate.
With
It-
the
it
wood.
came-
The wood came from somewhere, right? Is that bats?
It did. It came from a professional baseball team, and essentially what it was is, bats are made out of wood, and they break from time to time, and they were just throwing the broken bats away,
Right.
and with them, I said, "Hey, what are you doing with them?" And they're like, "They just go in the dumpster." I'm like, "Can we have them? Can we save them?" And they were like, "What are you going to do with a bunch of broken bats?" And I said, "Trust me, we'll create beautiful cigar humidors out of them." And so they saved a couple of giant garbage cans full of baseball bats for us, and told us to come pick them up when we were ready. And now we've created a limited edition series of 50 handcrafted humidors from these game-used professional baseball bats.
Awesome. That's cool. Speaking of bats, and I have to bring this up, this is something that your dad tells me. You said to him, you can have your inheritance now, or you can wait. And you chose to have it now, and you bought a hotel across the street infested with not baseball bats, but real bats.
Right, go bats. We like those bats because down here, our bats are about the size of your thumb, and they eat mosquitoes.
that's
So
not
they're
bad.
really good for the environment and make it a little more pleasant to be out here in the summertime. But where I'm coming from coming today is from the third floor of our iconic El Reloj cigar factory that was built in 1910. And it was the largest and finest cigar factory in the world when it opened. And when it opened in this part of Tampa, a whole neighborhood sprung up around it, including across the street. A large commercial building was built by the Sanchez y Haya Cigar Company. And that building was built to serve our factory. The first floor 100 years ago had a restaurant, had a bar, and the second floor was an old hotel. And we're in the process of restoring it and bringing it back to life with a restaurant, cigar lounge on the first floor, a small hotel on the second floor, so that when it's finished next year, it will look and feel and smell and be just like it was 100 years ago, and allows us to help tell the story of the cigar industry here in Tampa. But before we could restore the building, we had to very humanely relocate our colony of about 5,000 bats homes across the street.
Man, you think you're just in the cigar business, but no, you did a little bit of everything. It's crazy.
And a long undertaking. You're still a year away from this. What are you going to name the hotel?
So the building is going to have three different uses: a restaurant, a cigar lounge on the first floor, and a small inn on the second floor. The restaurant is going to be named for my grandmother, Elaine Newman. It's going to be called Elaine's. The cigar lounge is going to be named for my grandfather, who you remember, Dave.
Yes.
It's going to be Stanford Cigar Club. And then the hotel on the second floor will be called the Inn at El Reloj. And El Reloj is the name of our cigar factory here. And we're restoring these spaces as a way for us to keep the cigar tradition alive here in Cigar City. In addition to having the last traditional cigar factory still operating in the country, we've expanded and kind of gone into the hospitality business. Many people visit wineries and distilleries and breweries and go there for tours and tastings and events. So we thought, why can't we do the same for cigars here in Cigar City? So we still roll 60,000 cigars a day in this building, but now we're open to the public. We have guided tours, cigar rolling classes, a cigar museum. We host weddings and other events here too, and have become a real destination for 20,000 cigar enthusiasts last year alone. And by restoring this building across the street and adding our restaurant, our cigar lounge, our hotel, it just gives us the opportunity to tell the story of the historic cigar industry in the cigar city of Tampa and really in the United States.
It's really cool. I mean, what I was going to ask you, and really double down on it by all the stuff you guys do. I feel like better than anyone else, you guys really are really good job at representing the history of JC Newman. And, a lot of the projects you do and a lot of the stuff you do in Tampa is around that. But, have you guys always been historians essentially and archiving things over the years? Or is this something that you wanted to do when you came on board and, really elevate that history and what has it gone into? Because it seems like all these different projects you're doing, especially having the museum, you're going to have all of these things and save them. So what did that process look like of, archiving 100+ years of history? Because that's a huge undertaking too.
It is. So what separates JC Newman is that we're a 130-year-old, 4-generation family business, and we're the oldest cigar company still owned by the founding family here in America, and we're the last traditional cigar factory still operating in the country. And so we have 130 years of history. And to your point, we've saved and cared for just tremendous amounts of archival material, old records, old cigar boxes, memorabilia, artifacts. I'm certain we have the greatest collection of old cigars in the world in our cigar vault in the basement. And we've been really caretakers for our family story, but also the cigar industry here in Tampa for a very long time. But it wasn't until our 125th anniversary 5 years ago that we realized that we needed to open our archives up to the public, open this building up to the public, and share this story. And so we have the story. It's authentic. It's real. It's pretty much the oldest one around. But it wasn't until about 5 years ago that we really made an effort to share it with cigar enthusiasts from around the world.
Well, the reason why we're not doing the show live there, and I've tried already 2 or 3 times, is because each time I end up picking a date that, okay, we're going to come down, your dad says, oh, we're already booked. Because of this wedding thing, that people have got married there.
I should have added that to my vendor list before
it has really turned into something, and I really want to do it. I want to not only to go down and do the show from there, I would like to do it and invite our listeners to come and turn this into a big thing. But the problem is you guys are booked so often, and I literally booked a year in advance to do it, and it was already booked from, go back in time and look, and it was April 1st. It happened to be on April 1st, and your dad said, can we change that date? It was Saturday, April 1st, and the reason why is that was the anniversary of the Cigar Authority. And I said, no, it actually has to be that date, and he said, no, we could do 3 weeks after that or something. And I'm like, no, I'm that guy of no, the anniversary is the anniversary date. That being said, we got to make this happen.
Yeah, we love to find a time to have you guys come down here. I think last year we had 80-something events, from large weddings to community events. Wow. It's great. And what we love about it is the more people we bring into our factory, the more people we can share the historic cigar tradition with.
In the right way. The right way. And exactly. I bet you have had people, they never smoked a cigar before, and they come there, and maybe someday they'll give one a try because, now they really hear the real story of it and not think negatively, because the press that's out there for my lifetime has been negative on cigars.
Right.
Well, of our 20,000 visitors we had last year, half of them are your customers, half of them love cigars, and the other half who visited us have never picked up a cigar in their life. And even if they leave here and never smoke a cigar in their life, we hope that they will leave here with an appreciation for the craft, the tradition, the history behind cigars, and will just respect the culture that we are working so hard to preserve. And we're very fortunate here in Tampa, which I would argue is the most cigar-friendly place really in the United States, just because Tampa's economy was built by the cigar industry 140 years ago. And so even today, our local leaders and the business community, the tourism industry, all supports telling the cigar story. And so it's really a great opportunity for us to be ambassadors, not only for our family and for the cigar industry. We're also ambassadors for the city of Tampa, and we're very grateful for the support that our government gives us.
Yeah, you get some of the greatest cigar shops that are there too. I don't even know why the PCA doesn't.
Thank you. That's what I was just about to say.
Why don't they just put the trade show there?
Yeah.
I don't know why that happens. You sit on the board now?
Not on the PCA. We've tried. In fact, the PCA trade show back when it was the RTDA was here in Tampa in 2001. I think, and the city has tried, and we've worked with the city's convention office to try to get the PCA here, and they would roll out the red carpet. You can smoke cigars anywhere. The city would be delighted to have the trade show. The one problem is the trade show floor plan is about like 20% too large to fit in Tampa's convention center. And so the massive show this year took 10 minutes. It felt like to walk from one end of the trade to the other. And that size is just a little too big for what we can handle here in Tampa. And it's too big for Orlando, too big for Miami. And it's just really, I think it's just left New Orleans and Las Vegas that are the two destinations that can handle the trade show now and allow smoking.
Well, I say ask the bigger boys to cut down 25%.
The booth space a little bit.
Everybody agreed to end up doing it and try it out because we saw it during the early COVID years that everybody lowered their booth space because it was last minute of how it was put together, and they did just as much business. They don't need the giant trade show booth. But that being said, we'll see if we can end up making that happen someday. It's been 25 years now.
It's time to go back to Florida.
Right.
I mean, wouldn't you guys rather just get in the car and
especially
go
then they could walk.
Yeah,
you could walk.
You could walk in Tampa, absolutely.
So you mentioned your dad and your grandfather. And yes, I did know him, Stanford, and that your grandmother, you're going to name the hotel, the restaurant after her. I was honored enough to not only know her, but I went to her house and saw her. And just a tremendous family. I didn't know your great-great-grandfather, but certainly from Stanford, 40 years in the business for me this year. I'm a bit of a historian myself, and Stanford, there was JC Newman that created the whole company, and then Stanford came in, and Stanford did a lot of different things in my career on it. But going back even further, when the trade with Cuba went away, your grandfather went out and tried to find other tobacco because now with Cuban tobacco not being available, he has to find other tobacco, and he is the one that found the Cameroon tobacco, African Cameroon tobacco, and that was 60 years ago this year.
Yes, that's correct. My grandfather Stanford was the one who brought Cameroon wrapper tobacco to the United States and was the first one to use it here. And it made our Quest Array number 95 a super premium seller in the 1960s and the 70s all throughout the United States. And it was something he was very proud of because before the Cuban embargo in 1962, all of Tampa's cigar factories used almost exclusively Cuban tobacco. Tobacco was grown in Cuba and the cigars were made in Tampa. And so the Cuban embargo severely disrupted and threatened the American cigar industry. But the Cameroon leaf that here is still popular and prized 60 years later is just a great story, and it was something that my grandfather Stanford was very proud of. And David, something that we're very excited to celebrate with you later this summer.
So we're smoking El Baton.
Yes.
And an old brand brought back a couple of times, and here it is. But can you imagine an El Baton using Cameroon tobacco, celebrating 60 years of Cameroon tobacco in the form of a firecracker?
Sounds like a good idea.
It's a great idea. And
on that, yeah.
Thank you so much for allowing this crazy idea in my head. But, people look at, yes, 130 years ago, but these other things that happened in, that we're living in now with the prized tobacco, very, very hard to get, by the way, and use.
Yes.
And you just can't let it go by the 60th anniversary of Cameroon tobacco without at least giving a nod to that. And that's what we're going to do for the 60th anniversary of Cameroon, Stanford Newman, and El Baton Firecracker.
Yes.
And I'm lucky enough to have had a couple of samples along the way, dying for the final end of this. But I was very, very pleased with, when you have a cigar and it's got a lot of strength in it, you actually want to back it off a little bit because you want to taste the Cameroon. What has to shine here is the Cameroon tobacco. Absolutely. And you guys did it. It's I don't know if you can keep something like this ever going, but because again, it's a hard tobacco to get, but to not let this go by without saying something.
We're very pleased by this very special release, and you're absolutely right. It's such a unique flavor. Being able to take a high-intensity cigar like El Baton and balance it with just a beautiful Cameroon leaf. And the Cameroon seed, it's a derivative of the old Sumatra seed from 100 years ago. It's thin by its genes. It's thin, it's oily, it's just very, very delicate. And so it takes a lot of skill to be able to blend a cigar that is packed with flavor like El Baton and balance it out with just a gorgeous Cameroon wrapper. And I'm so excited that we can celebrate it with a firecracker this summer.
Yeah. Yes. Now, one other thing I want to mention is there's people out there that think they can blend a cigar, they can roll a cigar, and, in order to pull something like that off, you would have to probably go on a plane with a passport and go to a third world country to try to end up pulling something like this off and spending a long time to end up doing it, and you'd be one and done. But once again, the JC Newman Company has come up with an idea. And is this off and running already? Is this happening? It's already happening. So explain what you're doing there.
Which is your point. There's so many very passionate and knowledgeable cigar enthusiasts. And if you want to go to Latin America, you can get your passport and fly internationally and like land in Managua, the capital of Nicaragua, and take a bus or a car for 3 hours to Esteli. And if you want to do that, that's great. It's accessible and doable, but it is a lot easier being able to come to the cigar city of Tampa. We're 15 minutes from the airport here, same language, same food, same currency. It's no passport needed. And here in our 115-year-old El Rolo cigar factory, we're celebrating the tradition of cigar rolling in America. So not only can you take a factory tour here and see our cigar museum, but we have cigar rolling classes at that first row of tables over there. And then over here, you can kind of see our blending display where you have 24 types of tobacco leaves that are that we've pulled from our library, and we can take you through the blending process in a tasting class. And if you want to blend your own cigar with us, we've created a special program where you can create your own blend. And one of our rollers, actually, he sits where that blue wrap is behind me. We'll roll 80 cigars just to your liking, and there are millions of combinations available. And if you create your own blend, say for your wedding, and create your own wedding cigars, we'll write it down in our blend book, and you can call us 5 years from now when you're having a kid, and we can re-roll your own personal blend to celebrate a birth of a child or another one of life's milestones. And so it's America has a rich tradition of cigar making that goes back to 1612, and we want to celebrate it and keep it alive here in the cigar city of Tampa.
That is unbelievable.
Very slick.
So cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many people fit in this event space?
Right? How many days would we have to end up doing it? So, because who doesn't want to try that? I've done it in these other countries. But by the way, I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, we all are.
Combinations that I think would go is, when the guy, as I'm saying it, shaking his head.
Yep.
And I go, no, I think I got something here. And he does it, and it's horrible, and he knows why or whatever. Yep. But it's happened.
Yeah.
That somebody has come before and created a combination that ends up working.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It has happened.
And then to be able to go back and, that was for my wedding. I got my wedding cigars. I have a baby coming. Call them up. I need
Very cool.
a couple hundred of these, okay? And you'd say, yep, we'll make them for you based on your blend, your exact thing.
That's tremendous.
Oh, my God. So this is at least, what, $10,000 a person?
So our cigar rolling, our tours are $15 a person. Our cigar museum is free. Our cigar rolling classes are $75 a person. You leave with a box of 5 cigars that you've rolled with custom bands on
deal.
it.
With bands
And
on them, custom bands.
Our custom blending program, I think it's $2,200, and you
that's
leave.
great.
You get 80 cigars rolled to your liking, and we'll age them for you as long as you want with custom bands, and we present them to you in 4 leather cabinets of 20 cigars. And so
great.
it's
Unbelievable.
it's meant to be accessible because we're very proud to keep the tradition of cigar making alive here in the United States, and we want to share it with as many people as possible.
That would be a good prize to give away. Do a big event and something, and somebody's going to win their own blend where they blend it and they get this prize because who doesn't, a real cigar smoker, who doesn't want that?
Yeah,
No.
really.
I want it.
Yeah, so just send us your event availability after the New England Cigars.
I think we should roll some extra cigars if we do that. That way, here on the Ash Holes podcast, you can do a one draw test.
Ah, there we go.
And then smoking. It's unbelievable. Geez, you're coming out swinging. You became a lawyer when I followed you and know Eric very well, and then you went on to college, and then you went to law school, and I go, you may have a problem here, and we'll look at Bobby's kids to see what ends up happening. And then you swung back in, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Let me ask you this. Were you pushed back in, or did you come in?
Never. I was told at a very young age that if I wanted to join our family business, I was welcome to, but I should follow my own passions and chart my own course in life. And I've been working. I started working part-time for our company in 1996 as a teenager, and worked part-time for a very long time before transitioning in 2017 to full-time. But it was always told that I should only be here if I want to be here, and that's true for the cigar business. You have to want to be in the cigar industry. Right. On the outside, it can appear to be very glamorous, but as both of you know, it's a lot of hard work, and you have to care about tobacco. You've got to care about cigar making and all the details, and it's a struggle and it's a fight every day to get every cigar to be perfect. But I find that very rewarding, and it's a privilege to be able to continue my family's 130-year legacy in the cigar industry.
There's so much. I can talk to you for hours. When the internet started and it became groups, where you would go on. It was Drew Newman that started the Cigar Family group that was there. How old were you when you started that?
I was 15.
15 years old,
Great.
right? And here I am sitting on the sideline, and I go, "My God, this is unbelievable!" With all these, I'm a member of it. I'm in there chatting and stuff, and I go, "Who put this together?" And it's Eric's son, and I go, "No, Eric's son. He's a teenager." And no, he's the one that ends up putting that together. I'm like, "Oh my God!" I went down to the Dominican one year, and there's your dad with his young son, and you guys are in scrubs because you're giving. It was either hearing tests or eye tests or something for the folks down there. And just watching you as a little kid, and then really, to be honest with you, the disappointment of you went to college and you became a lawyer, because I'm like, this guy could be talk about he lived his life in the cigar industry. Right. If he ends up doing it. And then you made the thing back, and I talked to your dad when you came back in, and believe me, he had a big smile on his face. But I wondered if he pushed you, and he didn't. As a father myself, let him decide if that's what he wants to do. And if he does, remember that for your son, because I think that was right call.
Already.
Yeah.
And my daughter. Yeah. Who knows?
Right? Nowadays,
2-year-old daughter, and they're both welcome to join the business if they want to. They both love being here, and they run around this 115-year-old cigar factory as toddlers, just like I did when I was their age. And they want to join, there will be a place for them. But for now, it's a privilege to be able to keep our family tradition alive.
Awesome.
Beautiful, beautiful. Drew Newman, thank you for joining us here on the Ash Holes. We got a lot of information out here. We're going to take a break, but a big thank you to you. Say hi to Dad for me and Uncle Bobby and everybody there. Thank you. And we'll see you soon.
See you in Tampa.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we got lots more to come.
Only Great Leaf makes great cigars. Aganorsa Leaf stands out because of the distinctive mouth-watering flavors of the Corojo 99 and the Criollo 98 seeds, cultivated by Cuban agronomists on the best lands in Jalapa and Esteli, Nicaragua. When you smoke one of the JFR Lunatic, Guardian of the Farm, or Casa Fernandez cigars, you will experience the unique taste and aroma that makes Aganorsa Leaf different than any other tobacco in the world. Smoke one today and enjoy the signature flavor of Aganorsa Leaf.
Hello, cigar aficionados. This is Klaus Kellner from Davidoff Cigars. I invite you to taste the elements with Davidoff Escurio, Nicaragua, and Yamasa. From water comes originality. Savor the sweet and spicy originality of the Davidoff Escurio tobaccos born by the rains of Bahia, Brazil. From fire comes intensity. Enjoy the bittersweet aromas and fiery intensity of the Davidoff Nicaragua. From earth comes complexity. Taste the earthy flavors and complex spices that are unique to the red soil of the Yamasa region in Dominican Republic. Only Davidoff Master Blenders could take the power of nature and blend it into a range of exceptional cigars. Each element making each cigar a unique experience. Water, fire, earth. Flavors that have risen from the very world itself. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. Davidoff Cigars. Cigar adventures to a wider world.
Introducing the Romeo y Julieta, Reserva Real Nicaragua, Midnight Twist, a bold evolution of a classic favorite. This unique cigar features a striking barber pole wrapper, intertwining Nicaraguan Habano and Maduro leaves, creating a visual and flavorful masterpiece. Beneath its jewel-toned exterior lies a rich blend of Nicaraguan tobaccos, delivering a medium to full-bodied profile. Experience a symphony of flavors, from earthy spices and pepper to indulgent notes of cocoa and coffee, all culminating in a smooth, satisfying finish. Handcrafted by the legendary duo, Rafael Nodal and AJ Fernandez, the Midnight Twist offers a smoking experience that's as captivating as its appearance. Elevate your evening with the Romeo y Julieta Reserva Real Nicaragua Midnight Twist. Available now.
And we're back live in the Studio 21 Cigar Studio above Two Guys Smoke Shop in Salem, New Hampshire. Today we are smoking the El Baton, not Cameroon, just El Baton Robusto.
Yes, Cameroon Firecracker's coming.
I know.
It looks like right before Labor Day.
Okay.
I asked Oliver that question actually yesterday.
Perfect.
He was on his way somewhere, and I said I knew we were going to have Drew on, and said,
let's get a hard date. Yeah,
let's look at it.
That's
so he
perfect.
Says, we'll be smoking them for Labor Day weekend, he said.
That's great. Well,
across the country.
And, if you're new or just listening, if you're on YouTube, just make sure you press the like button, subscribe if you want to get future shows on YouTube. Same if you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Subscribe so you get all the new shows. But if you want to take it a step further, and I really want people to do this, send us an email to the ashholespodcast@gmail.com because we want to know, do you want to go to Tampa?
Right.
Do you want to go? Do you want to do a little Harlem Globetrotters meet Scooby-Doo, but it's the Cigar Authority, the Ash Holes, and JC Newman? Let's see.
Yeah. Again, with the hard date of April 1st, I got to get away from that. But
it'd have to be something else.
Yeah.
And you know what? You want to go in February or January.
But then you don't want to. People got stuck and couldn't get on the plane because of snow and the airport shut down too.
True.
April 1st is lousy.
Yeah.
It certainly is here anyway.
Yeah.
And we've had it up to here by then
Yes.
of bad weather.
It's true. It's true.
And that it falls on this year for the Cigar Authority to be Sweet 16.
Yeah, it's the day before my birthday. It's 40 minutes from Disney World. I think there's a lot of upside here. A lot of upside. But we're doing things a little bit differently because,
No kilt man.
No kilt man, and we're going full speed. So it's time for Dave's Weekly Six Pack, brought to you by Red Anchor Cigars.
Red Anchor is the world's first cigar brand, beginning in 1772, now celebrating over 250 years. United Cigar, in partnership with the famed Kellner family, reintroduced Red Anchor Cigars, now blended in the Dominican Republic, featuring an Ecuador wrapper, Monte Plata binder, and fillers of San Vicente, Habano 92, and Pennsylvania broadleaf. This three-country blend creates a medium-bodied, smooth profile of cedar, nutmeg, shortbread, and a rich, buttery finish. It's time to relish the return of Red Anchor Cigars.
Well, that isn't going to work because it's brought to you by Red Anchor Cigar. And there isn't Red Anchor in the six-pack.
Yeah, there has been in the past. You know, this is
again. There was no way we were going to wrap that up in 20 minutes.
No,
there was no way. I have another 2 hours with him.
Yes.
He's going to have to come here, and we're going to have to do an event with him, although he's so busy. There's so much going on. I get it. I think we have to go there.
I really do. I mean, think about all the stuff they're just do. Like, you know how much work it is to do that building across the street?
He is.
And, we talked about all the art. They have to have an archivist there.
Archivist.
Yeah, I think that's the term.
Archivist?
Archivist.
I mean, I've heard it both ways.
All the history, whatever. But we got to go. So
all right.
Tell us you want to go.
Dave's Weekly Six-Pack is brought to you by Red Anchor Cigars. It does not include any Red Anchor cigars, just a caveat there. But it does include the El Baton Robusto that we're smoking here. Under $10 cigar, folks. By the way, just a heads up, just about every single brand has gone up today. I gave you a week's notice that this was going to happen. Today actually was the day that boom, they're changing them all in the store. It's all happening everywhere because manufacturers got it to us. We've received product now at these prices. We're looking at them. We've changed prices. Every manufacturer's changed prices.
Yes.
This is like the only other time this happened, and I hate to go long on this, but it's important, was when S-Chip happened.
Yes.
It's not that anybody wants to do it.
No.
The cost of all three major companies that we do business with, which is Honduras, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, along with Europe, if you're bringing stuff in from Europe, which we do for a lot of things, they all went up right now 10%. Could be worse, could be better in the future.
Right.
Who knows? I'm going to make the statement now. These prices stand. I don't think anybody backs it up. When I get a price hike from UPS because of the price of gas. When the price of gas goes back down, it never has gone back. I think this is where we're at. An under $10 cigar is almost unheard of at this point.
And you got
four. That, we have four of them. We have El Baton Robusto. We have Cuesta-Rey number 60. Cuesta-Rey, when you see the JC Newman factory, there's the sign that's on there, Cuesta-Rey. The Cuesta-Rey number 60 Natural, and the Maduro. When's the last time you smoked a Cuesta-Rey? You've never smoked a Cuesta-Rey? It's an old brand, but if you never did, it's brand new to you.
And the Cigar Hall of Famer.
In the Hall of Fame, absolutely. Brick House Classic Toro, another one, $9 cigar. These are all JC Newman cigars. They're incredible cigars, and they make those four cigars themselves. Now we have the Diamond Crown Julius Caesar Robusto, probably my favorite of all. You would think that the Connecticut, which is what I smoked for years and years, but Julius Caesar is in a different level. Yes, that is $14.59.
It's still under $15. Think about how long, 30 years on the market. There's cigars that have been less than that aren't that high.
Great cigar. And the Aging Room Quattro Concerto Vibrato, $15.39. That if you know how this whole thing works, that'll be the cigar we'll smoke next week. So now I know what we're going to end up smoking next week. $66.24 if you were going to buy them separately. $59.99 gets you 10% off. $59.99. You go to twoguyscigars.com. On the search bar, you search Dave's. You'll see it pop up. If you try to search it any other way, you're not going to find it. It's hidden there. It's only that deal is there for the Ashholes listener, so you can buy it now, and you can have that aging room that we're going to smoke next week and smoke along with us. So that's Dave's six-pack, and, man, we're way over.
Way over.
So we got to get to ranking this cigar.
That's right.
And giving it. And you're ready, Aaron, too?
I'm ready. I've got my number.
Aaron, hit us.
Aaron's been very high lately. So,
yes.
Let's go to him, because I went pretty high. So let's see where he goes.
I think it's an excellent cigar. Pretty consistent flavor, great construction. 92.
92 for a $9 cigar. Under $10 cigar. I feel good about this. 93. I beat Aaron. I feel like I won.
And I lost badly because I put 91.
91, 92, 93.
So that means I win.
That's it. Aaron was correct.
Oh, okay.
Aaron was correct. This is a really good cigar for
Excellent.
that kind of money.
Excellent. I mean,
you're looking for a Nicaraguan with a little oomph to it. This is El Baton. Not so much oomph that I don't smoke it regularly.
You know, I'm getting ahead of myself, but this might be one of my draft picks in a couple months. So I'll leave it at that.
Come on. There's a cigar in the shop called El Baton. El Baton, El Baton.
There's a cigar in the six-pack called El Baton, too.
Smoke, buy one now, or something like that.
Oh, it was great. But that is it for this week's show. Sorry we could be a little longer than normally did, but it was for good reason. Great to have Drew on the show. Next week, it's already here. Memorial Day weekend is this weekend. Hope you have a great time. Summer Cigar Preview on Tuesday. We're going to go over it, see what all these new cigars are coming out this summer. But until then, you've been listening to the Ashholes, broadcasting from the Studio 21 Cigar Studio above Two Guys Smoke Shop in Salem, New Hampshire. We will see you next Tuesday.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe.